Alrighty, boys and girls, it's a new week, week 38, if I'm correct. Yes, Monday. And on Monday, we're looking at the miners down under, and that is the Australian uranium miners looking long term, stunningly. Let's see what has happened the past 1 week. I will try to do the weekly, and then we go look at the daily charts for each miner. And yeah, I get some very good response from the Australian guys for this specific topic here. So thank you all for that. And as always, follow me. Do your thing. Really, you know what to do. The charts. That is why we're here. That is why we are here. Starting with 92E. Again, still not as bullish as most of the Australian miners here. Still in a long-term bull flag right here. And we have the three lower lows, which is very nice to see. And yeah, we had 2 weeks ago was a very bad week for 32E. Let's look at the daily. You can see here we still made that pivot low right here, which was a lower low, and then we popped straight back up again. So now we have a level to look for, which is roughly 0.26. We don't want that one to be taken out. Again, I will become decently bullish on this when we check out that internal golden trend line coming down here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on that triangle right here. That's the internal. Getting above that one, then it should slowly start to join all the other miners. But until then, we are in a downtrend. There's no denying that at all. Let's zoom out here again. AEE. Bit of a messy chart, but there are still some merit to it. Here is your neckline. There are your left, head, and shoulder. And right now, look, zooming in here quite a bit. To get really, really bullish, we want to take out these two, the blue neckline and this 2-year-long golden trend line right here. So getting above the highs here, as you can see, let me just adjust it. It's actually horizontal. That's even better. So getting above 0.35, give or take, and stay there for some time on a weekly close maybe. Very bullish, very, very bullish. Until then, it's still trying to bottom out here. Again, I think if we take out that level I just mentioned, then I think we could grind higher and get up to this one here at some point in time at around 2, well, depending on how fast we go, 2 to 2.2, give or take. And we're currently at 0.32. So huge upside. Again, the measured move from that inverted head and shoulders is also pointing to a lot higher prices. So yeah, let's see. Again, it's a bit stretched on the daily. I will give you that. So it's not a buy here per se, but long term, it could be very fantastic above that 0.35 level. H, again, just look at this. After that golden trend line break, the long term, it's been a one-way street, right? Obviously, we had the consolidation, but going from 0.006 to 0.12, that's a 20x within like a half a year or so. That's insane. Shorter term, again, when we are breaking these, the major ones, the golden trend lines, in this case, it was a bullish flag or pennant. It's a one-way street, right? 4 weeks of green candles. Boom, 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 boom. Beautifully. Are we stretched on the daily? Absolutely. There is no denying that RSI insanely overbought here. And we are very stretched. I don't think, can we go higher? Yes, but I don't think we will go much higher than 0.078. This level coming across here. I think that's the max for this move. Obviously, short term, long term, it goes way higher based from the setup. But this move right here after the breakout, I think we're in for a pause. You can also see how stretched we are from the moving averages. So again, you shouldn't be buying here. You should be waiting for some sort of flag, some sort of pullback. I don't know how it will go, but I do expect some sort of scenario like a pause here and then some sort of bullish consolidation for the next, I don't know, month or two maybe. Let's see. That's a strong move, however, pointing to a lot higher prices in the future. When you have a triangle break like you had here, the first big level to look for is the high of that triangle. So we still have a lot of way to go, right? But it doesn't go in a straight line. I would be very surprised if it does. That's very rare. So we'll probably see something like that instead, which is beautifully long term. Bannerman, good old Bannerman. Again, this is just, yeah, insanely strong chart here. Again, yeah, it's down 4% for today. So what? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Quite similarly, when we broke this trend line here, one-way street, that's like a 10x. Then we went into this long bull flag here on the weekly. And again, we break that golden flag and we're above the 30 weekly. You see insane price moves. And again, are we stretched on the daily? Absolutely. We are, but we are above this major level here at 2.3, which is now a big support. Again, you shouldn't be buying when we are this stretched from the moving averages. Also, after such a long run, again, wait for the decent pullbacks that will come for sure on the daily chart, and you basically you just buy the dips. You see this one here, buy the dip, and there will probably be some sort of buy the dip mode here in the near future. Again, it's a very small sector, so the moves can go on for quite a long time, as you can see here, right? But you had a big move here, and then you had a squeeze there, and so these will come again. There will be plenty of opportunities. If you have a position, beautifully, just sit it out. The next leg up here, wave 3, in my view, is coming for uranium. Deep yellow, look at this one here. As you notice, I'm just going to show you was it H? No, it was, yes, you see this one here. H, this is back from 2012, and then it broke in 2020, and we had a 20x on H. Let me look at deep yellow. Quite similarly, we are now at that same point in time where it is going to break that long-term trend line. In this case, from 2007, and now we are in 2023. But you can see here how important this is. That's the only line you should have on this chart if you want to keep it insanely simple. And look at what's happening now. There it is. This is the monthly, by the way, not the weekly, but still even better. That's a huge monthly breakout from a long-term trendline resistance. This is a bull flag. That's your pole. Deep yellow, long-term. Yeah, looks absolutely fantastic. Again, the dips on the daily chart, the consolidations you see on the daily chart should be bought up, in my view, as you know, in my view. This is Lotus Energy. We have taken out the 2007 high after we squeezed up here, and let me zoom in here. Let me zoom in, delete that one, just to see how beautifully the technicals are. That's the squeeze, breakout, flag into that upper golden trend line, and now we are resuming to the upside. Again, the daily is very much overbought and so on, but the weekly is still okay. It is overbought, but it has just broken out. The monthly, also fantastic. So you can see the monthly, weekly, and daily are overbought, which is a good thing that you have all these long-term, what's it called, long-term time frames in a very big uptrend. And again, the daily pullbacks you get, on the daily chart, not on the daily. If you get like a 5% pullback in one day, that's not a daily pullback. What I mean is that if you look at the daily chart and you have the uptrend here, and you start to get some sort of like a week or two of bullish price action, that's when you buy in, or you get like some of this on the daily, like a month. If this is 1 month, that right here, then that's when you're going to look for the entry. Not only just a 5% pullback in one day, that's not a daily pullback. Yeah, looks fantastic here again. Nothing to add really. It's trending on all the bigger time frames, and yeah, congratulations to the ones who bought these breakouts here. That's beautifully, especially this one back in March 2021. That's very nice. Also nice is Elevate. We have quite similarly broken out of that golden squeeze right there. You can see the break above the 30 weekly and a one-way street. And we are above that pivot high here, which is also support and resistance coming into this now. And we are actually retesting that level right now, as you can see here, coming all the way down here. Also a 6% down day for Elevate. You can see here it was heavily stretched above the moving averages, and we had some negative divergence in price according to the RSI. So again, just for this to stay here for like a month or two, that would be beautifully if you can somewhat buy that breakout or a low here at the support at 0.64, if it holds, of course. But it is a big level. That's 0.646, excuse me. So it was resistance before, and now it's big time support. Lotus Energy. Let me zoom out here again. Just I want to give you the perfect view. Again, 2010, the big macro long term was broken here, as you can see. There was a break, the retest, and now we're into one more of the long term. And that's a bull flag, right? And where are we now on the weekly? Right. You can see here, funny enough, we are retracing or getting a pullback from that golden trend line, which is to be expected. So now what I would do if I were to get into this one here is I would go to the daily, maybe the 4-hourly, you drop 2 time frames, and then you see here what happens. So if we get some sort of pullback down to the weekly moving average, that's your buy. That's roughly 10% from here. And yeah, or you just wait for that breakout that will probably come here, roughly in that range. Let me add on one horizontal line here. I just noted, you can see it there, two highs, and you have a high here, high there, and yeah, and we are into that. So taking out that long-term golden and that horizontal, then you are in for a lot higher prices, and you have the uptrend, as you know. So at some point in time, I guess we will touch that one in the future if everything acts out accordingly. That's at least how I see the setup currently for LOT. OKR, again, one of the lags. It had a false breakdown here, a possibly false breakdown here, and we noted that what we want to see is that we want to overshoot and then get back down again, and that's your buy. And right now we are currently on track for this type of behavior. Again, we don't know if it will happen at all, but obviously, well, not obviously, but often you see when you get a false breakdown and you see that type of move, that's very, very bullish to the upside. And you can see the 30 weekly still coming down. So there are more downside pressure for sure compared to upside pressure here. So this one is waiting a bit, but again, if we'll just keep looking at it, and hopefully we will get the price action that we need to get an entry. Paladin Energy, long term. As you know, the long term golden trend line started here, the touch there, boop, all the way down into a bull flag just below that golden trend line. And as we noted 2 weeks ago, we are breaking out, and it has been a one-way street ever since. Long term, this is beautiful. It will go a lot higher, a lot higher. And again, you can see we're starting to trend big time here. This is the bull flag that I talked about. There it is, beautifully. And yeah, you can see here every pullback is getting bought on the daily. I think we are a lot more stretched now than we were before. So I think we could see some sort of like this, like a 10% pullback here, and then that could be a buy. We have the retest of the long term here, but could we go all the way down here for that big retest at 0.80? Sure. And that would be a perfect entry if we get that sort of price action right here, right, where we go down here and then we resume. That would be a beautifully low risk, high reward entry in my view. But again, long term, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Okay, pen. Getting some decent buying here actually today. This is the first time I'm looking at it this morning. And yeah, we noted this double bottom here, a possibly double bottom. And yeah, we are back into the main triangle, which is here, which is where we want to be. Still way below the 30 weekly, and the pressure to the downside is a lot more compared to the upside. But this is a good start to maybe joining the others. I don't know. Again, we have some gaps to fill. There's one here, the big news with regarding to UEC. Then we had a big down day here as well, and we're just at that gap. So so baby steps here, but again, the pressure is to the downside. But this double bottom is very encouraging to see, and we really want to get above that high, you know, the bottom, the high here at around 0.125 to confirm the double bottom. And then you can do them, then we'll probably go all the way up here. So yeah, looks fantastic. Well, not fantastic, but it looks promising. Excuse me. Last but not least, one of the strongest, it's not a miner, but it's in the uranium industry, SLX. Ever since the bottom in 2020, as you know, it has been a one-way street all the way up compared to others that peaked and then corrected big time. This one has been in a big uptrend. It broke the wedge right here, and we have a bullish formation right here. So the break is not, let's say, bearish per se, because the overall uranium sector is going up now, and this has been very strong when everyone was weak. That's very positive for a stock. If you have a stock that is insanely strong when the sector is weak, then when the sector starts to return bullish again, this one should shoot up even higher. And yeah, as mentioned, we are currently in this blue wedge right here, which I just deleted for some reason. There it is. So let's see what happens. I would expect, and actually it would be better if we have a third low here and then we go. But anyways, let's see how it happens here. Long term, I mean, when we take out that high here, in my view, that pivot high here, at around 5.2, 5.3, then it gets really fun. But yeah, long term looks fantastic. Again, we need to get above that 30 weekly here. We don't want the 30 weekly to really start to curl down, but to me it doesn't seem that way. Okay, let's go into the equal weighted ETFs that we have made. Yes, they are equally weighted, so they have ups and downs compared to how it's usually done, but I think it's some sort of a decent guide here. So what we're looking at is we had that one here, the upper side of the flag here, the lower side of the flag, and then we came into this long-term green support. And last week, we did indeed break out from that upper. And let's see what happens. Do we go for that retest and then we go? Fine. Or do we just trend higher and then we see? But for now, this is overall fantastic to see on an equally weighted basis, of course. Remember this. So yeah, beautifully. This is also very beautifully, we have the equal weighted ETF and then we divide it by the spot price. And this is one big triangle squeeze right there. And we are just waiting for that breakout here. At some point in time, it looks like it wants to go right now, meaning that our equally weighted ETF is finally going to outperform the spot price. Again, confirming that the Australian miners still has a long way to go, in my view. So yeah, I think that's all I had for this time around. If there are any miners, any tickers that we need to add, I will see if they are worthy to have in. I think we have quite a decent sample here of like 10 to 12 miners that are representative of the Australian uranium mining industry. Yeah, give me a comment below. What do you think? I think, you know, long term, absolutely fantastic. On the daily, shorter term, yes, there might be some pullbacks. Doesn't matter at all if you're in for the long run. And that's what I am. So have a great day, guys. Hope you liked it, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.